I'm sitting in my studio apartment in Phoenix, scrolling through Instagram, and there it is, Mark's wedding announcement. My ex-husband, the father of my daughter, just married his girlfriend of a year. The caption reads, "Found someone who puts family first. Feeling blessed." 247 likes. Comments from our old friends congratulating him on upgrading and finding a real partner this time. The woman in the photo, Lauren, is everything I wasn't. She's holding my daughter Lily's hand, and Lily is beaming up at her in a way that used to be reserved for me. They're posed on the porch of the house Mark and I bought together, the one I lost in the divorce. The same porch where we'd planned to watch Lily learn to ride her bike. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me tell you how one weekend in Vegas destroyed everything I'd built, all because I listened to my single friends telling me I was missing out on life. I met Mark when we were both 22, fresh out of college. He was starting his nursing program, and I was working at a marketing firm in downtown Phoenix. We met at a mutual friend's barbecue, nothing special, just one of those random encounters that changes everything. He wasn't like the guys I usually dated, quieter, more focused, the kind of man who remembered your coffee order and texted to make sure you got home safe. We got married at 25, had Lily at 29. By 30, we'd bought our first house in Scottsdale. Mark worked night shifts at Phoenix Children's Hospital so he could watch Lily during the day while I worked. He'd come home exhausted at 7 a.m., but still make her breakfast, do puzzles, take her to the park. I'd find them passed out together on the couch when I got home, Lily clutched in his arms, both of them drooling. Life was good, stable, maybe too stable for some people's taste. A few weeks before Vegas, I'd been at the park with Lily, surrounded by other moms discussing preschool applications and organic snacks. I watched them, all wearing variations of the same outfit. Yoga pants, oversized cardigans, hair in messy buns. I caught my reflection in my phone screen. I looked exactly like them. When had I become invisible? At work, our new marketing coordinator, fresh out of ASU, got assigned the LA conference trip I used to love. "You probably want to stay local with your family obligations," my boss had said. It wasn't a question. "You're literally turning into your mother," my friend Kayla said one Friday when I declined another girls' night. "When's the last time you did something just for you?" Kayla was 32 and perpetually single by choice. She had a different guy every month, traveled constantly, posted bikini photos from Cabo and Tulum. Her life looked like an Instagram ad for being young and free. But I'd seen her cry in Ubers sometimes, blaming the driver's playlist. "I do things for myself," I said, watching Lily color at the kitchen table. "I went to yoga last week." "Mom yoga doesn't count. I mean real fun. Dancing, drinks, feeling alive. You're 32, Jenna, not dead." My other single friend, Brittany, was even worse. She'd been engaged twice, broken both off because something better might come along. She lived in a luxury apartment downtown, worked in pharmaceutical sales, made twice what Mark and I made combined. She kept a return label in her wallet for fiancés and shoes, she'd joke, but her laugh always came a beat too late. Every time we hung out, she'd make little comments. "Must be nice to have someone else's schedule to work around," she'd say when I had to leave early because Mark needed to get to work. I could never share a bathroom with a man full-time, when I mentioned Mark and I were renovating ours. "Thank God I don't have to ask permission to spend my own money," when I mentioned checking with Mark before buying a new laptop. They weren't mean comments exactly, just constant. Little drops of poison that accumulated over time. The erosion started small. I began going to Sunday brunches with them, mimosas flowing, listening to their dating stories. They'd show me their Tinder matches, the exciting guys taking them to fancy restaurants, whisking them off for spontaneous weekend trips. "Mark took me to Olive Garden for our anniversary," I mentioned once. They exchanged looks. "That's sweet," Brittany said in a tone that meant the opposite. "He orders extra breadsticks because I always eat the last one and pretend I don't." The truth was, Mark was exhausted. Working nights, watching Lily, maintaining the house. He was running on fumes. Date nights had become Netflix on the couch. Sex had become scheduled around his shifts and Lily's sleep schedule. Romance had become him bringing home my favorite ice cream after a particularly hard day. But through Kayla and Brittany's lens, I started seeing it differently. I wasn't a partner in a loving marriage. I was a boring housewife who'd given up on life. I wasn't a mother. I was a woman who'd let herself go. I wasn't content, I was settling. "You need to come to Vegas with us," Kayla announced one day. "Brittany's cousin is getting married, and we're doing the bachelorette party there. 4 days, 3 nights. You have to come." "I can't leave Lily for 4 days. Mark's her father, right? Pretty sure he can handle it. Or does he need you to hold his hand while he babysits his own kid?" That stung. Mark was an incredible father, but their words made me defensive about things that didn't need defending. I brought it up that night while Mark was getting ready for work. "The girls want me to go to Vegas for a bachelorette party." He was tying his sneakers, already exhausted before his 12-hour shift. "When?" "Next month, it's 4 days. He paused. 4 days is a long time. I'd have to get coverage for some shifts or find someone to watch Lily." "Forget it," I snapped. "God forbid I want to do something fun for once." He looked hurt. "I didn't say no. I just need to figure out logistics. When did I become the bad guy for being practical?" "You're not the bad guy. You're just, forget it. Go to work." He kissed my forehead, a habit even when we were fighting. "We'll figure it out. If it's important to you, we'll make it work." Mark wasn't perfect. He could go quiet when he was overwhelmed, the kind of silence that made me fill in the worst. But he showed up. For the bills, for the breakfasts, for Lily. Silence was his flaw. Consistency was his answer. I mistook the second for the first. 2 weeks before Vegas, I left a flirty comment on a coworker's gym selfie and deleted it before Mark got home. It wasn't cheating, it was rehearsal. But Kayla and Brittany had already painted him as the villain. Every practical concern became control. Every budget discussion became financial abuse. Every moment he needed me became codependency. "A real partner would be excited for you to have fun," Brittany said. "My ex used to guilt trip me about girls' trips too. That's why he's an ex." So I went to Vegas. Mark arranged everything, switched shifts, arranged backup childcare with his mother, even drove me to the airport. He tucked a snack pack and Lily's heart-scribbled sticky note into my tote. I rolled my eyes for Kayla. I folded the note into my wallet. "Have fun," he said, kissing me goodbye. "You deserve a break." "Don't wait up," I said, trying to sound casual and free like my friends. "I'll be at work anyway," he reminded me gently. "Text me when you land. Love you." "Yeah, you too," Kayla noticed. "You too? That's how you respond to 'I love you' from your husband?" "It's just habit," I mumbled. "Habits are meant to be broken," she said, linking her arm through mine. "This weekend, you're not a mom. You're not a wife. You're just Jenna, hot, young, fun Jenna who can do whatever she wants." The first night was relatively tame. Drinks at the hotel bar, dancing at a club, stumbling back to our suite at 3 a.m. I FaceTimed Mark and Lily the next morning, hungover but happy. "Mommy, your eyes look funny," Lily said. "Mommy's just tired, baby. Are you being good for Daddy?" "We made pancakes. Daddy let me flip them." Mark appeared behind her, looking exhausted but smiling. "She only dropped 2 on the floor. Progress. You having fun?" "Yeah, it's good to get away." "Good, you needed this. We miss you, but we're surviving." Lily's stuffed elephant, Ellie, was clutched in her arms, smelling like syrup, and Mark's scrubs even through the screen. In Vegas, my purse smelled like tequila and someone else's cologne. That should have been enough. A caring husband, a happy daughter, a life waiting for me at home. But Kayla grabbed my phone. "Enough checking in, you're killing the vibe." The second night, things escalated. The bachelorette party merged with a bachelor party at the club. The bass climbed my spine and rewired my judgment. In that light, everyone looked new, and being new felt better than being good. Suddenly, we were doing shots with a group of guys from San Diego. One of them, Tyler, kept buying me drinks. "You're too pretty to look so serious," he said. "What's on your mind?" "Nothing, just nothing." "Let me guess, boyfriend back home?" "Husband," I corrected, holding up my ring. "Lucky guy, but he's not here, and you are. When's the last time someone told you how beautiful you are?" Mark told me every day, actually. When I woke up with bedhead, when I was covered in Lily's spit-up, when I was stressed about work. But in that moment, with the music pounding and alcohol flowing, it didn't feel like enough. "Dance with him," Brittany shouted in my ear. "It's just dancing." So I danced, and when he pulled me closer, I let him. When he bought me another drink, I took it. When he suggested we get some air on the casino floor, I went. "I should get back to my friends," I said as we walked past the slot machines. "In a minute," he said, leading me toward the elevators. "I just want to talk somewhere quieter." I knew. I knew what he wanted, where this was heading. I wasn't that drunk. I wasn't that naive. But Kayla's voice echoed in my head. "You're just Jenna. You can do whatever you want." His room was on the 20th floor. Vegas glared beneath us, bright enough to hide anything but the truth. When he kissed me, I tasted tequila and bad decisions. When he started unbuttoning my dress, I thought of Mark at home, probably doing Lily's bedtime routine, reading her the same story 3 times because she insisted. "I can't," I said, pulling away. "I'm married. I have a daughter." "So? What they don't know won't hurt them." But it would. It already was. Being in that room was already a betrayal. "I have to go," I said, fixing my dress. "Come on, don't be a tease. You came up here." "I'm leaving." He grabbed my wrist. "You sure about that?" For a moment, fear sobered me completely. I was alone in a hotel room with a stranger. My friends didn't know where I was, and I'd put myself here. "Let go," I said firmly. He did, laughing. "Whatever. Plenty of actually fun girls downstairs." I practically ran to the elevator. But here's the thing, I didn't go back to my room. I didn't call Mark. I went back to the club, found my friends, and pretended nothing happened. When Brittany asked where I'd been, I lied. "Just needed air, too many shots." "Lightweight," she teased, handing me another drink. The rest of the night blurred. More dancing, more drinks, more guys hitting on us. Kayla made out with someone at the bar. Brittany disappeared with a groomsman. And I kept drinking, trying to forget how close I'd come to destroying everything. The next morning, I woke up to notifications. Instagram tags, Facebook posts. The other girls from the bachelorette party had posted everything. There I was, grinding on the dance floor with Tyler. There I was, taking shots off another guy's abs. There I was, looking nothing like a mother and wife, looking exactly like what my friends wanted me to be, single and available. I untagged myself frantically, but screenshots last forever. "Delete those, please," I begged Brittany. "Mark doesn't need to see that." "Relax. It's not like you did anything wrong, you were just dancing." But the photos said otherwise. The way Tyler's hands were on my hips, the way I was looking at him, the way I was dressed, acting, drinking. It all painted a picture, and it wasn't one I could explain away. I called Mark that afternoon, trying to sound normal. "How's everything?" "Good. Lily misses you. I miss you." He sounded tired. "Having fun?" "Yeah, just typical Vegas stuff." "Good. You deserve to cut loose." "Oh, Jake texted me. His wife saw some photos from your night. Looked like quite a party." My blood froze. Jake's wife, Sarah, was Facebook friends with the bride's sister. Of course she'd seen them. "Just dancing," I said weakly. "I figured. Listen, I gotta go. Lily's asking for lunch. Love you." "Love you too," I said, meaning it for the first time all weekend. But I didn't come home. I stayed for the last night, telling myself I'd already paid for it. Might as well enjoy it. But really, I was afraid to face Mark. Afraid he'd see the guilt written all over me. The last night was worse. Maybe because I was trying to prove to myself that I hadn't done anything wrong. Maybe because I was angry at feeling guilty. Maybe because Kayla kept saying, "You only live once and you're wasting it feeling bad about having fun." This time, when a guy approached me, Derek from Dallas, I didn't mention my husband. When he asked to buy me a drink, I said yes. When he complimented my dress, I flirted back. When he suggested we check out the rooftop bar at his hotel, I went. "This is more like it," Brittany cheered. "Finally, you're acting like yourself." But this wasn't myself. This was someone wearing my face, making choices I wouldn't make, justified by friends who didn't have what I had to lose. The rooftop bar was beautiful. Derek was charming. He was in private equity, recently divorced, looking to make bad decisions in Vegas. When he kissed me during the fireworks show, I kissed back. When he suggested we continue this in his room, I almost said yes. Almost. "I need to tell you something," I said. "I'm married." He laughed. "In Vegas? Nobody's married in Vegas." "No, I mean, I have a husband, a daughter, a whole life." His face changed. "Then what are you doing here with me?" It was a good question. What was I doing? Who was I becoming? "I'm sorry," I said. "I'm so sorry. I'm not this person." "Apparently you are," he said coldly. "Good luck with that husband of yours. Hope he never finds out what kind of woman he married." I fled. Back to my room, back to reality, back to the crushing weight of what I'd almost done. Twice. Kayla and Brittany were still out, so I sat alone in the dark, staring at my phone. Mark had sent a video of Lily sleeping, her tiny hand clutching the stuffed elephant I'd given her for her birthday. "Missing Mommy," his text said. "Can't wait for you to come home." I cried until I threw up. Or maybe I threw up until I cried. Either way, I spent my last night in Vegas on the bathroom floor, wondering how I'd gotten here. The flight home felt like flying toward Judgment Day. I'd convinced myself I could pretend nothing happened. I hadn't technically cheated. I'd kissed someone, yes, but that was all. I'd been in compromising positions, but I'd stopped before crossing the final line. Surely that counted for something. But social media is forever, and secrets don't stay in Vegas. Mark picked me up from the airport with Lily. She ran to me screaming, "Mommy!" And for a moment, everything felt normal. Mark hugged me, asked about my flight, loaded my luggage. But there was something in his eyes. A question, a distance. At home, after Lily was in bed, he finally asked, "Sarah showed me some photos from your trip." "Oh?" I tried for casual, failed miserably. "You looked like you were having fun." His voice was carefully neutral. "Different from how you usually look." "What's that supposed to mean?" "Nothing, just, you looked like a different person. Not bad, just different." "Because I was wearing a dress and makeup? Because I was dancing? Am I not allowed to have fun?" "I didn't say that." He was folding laundry, methodical and calm. "I want you to have fun. I'm glad you went." "You don't sound glad." He set down Lily's tiny shirt. "Jenna, did something happen in Vegas?" "Like what?" "Defensive. Too defensive." "I don't know, you tell me." "Nothing happened. I danced, I drank, I hung out with my friends. Sorry if that's such a crime." "Why are you being like this? I'm just trying to talk to you." "No, you're accusing me of something. Just like Kayla said you would. God forbid I have a life outside this house." It was cruel, throwing Kayla's words at him. He flinched. "When did I become the enemy here? When did wanting to know about your trip become an accusation?" "I'm tired," I said. "I'm going to bed." But I couldn't sleep. I lay there thinking about Tyler's room, Derek's kiss, the way I'd felt desired and dangerous and nothing like a suburban mom. Was that really so wrong? To want to feel young and attractive? To want men to look at me like I was more than someone's wife and mother? The answer, of course, was no. The wrong part was everything else. Over the next weeks, things deteriorated. Mark didn't accuse me of anything, which almost made it worse. He was just careful, like he was handling broken glass. He still kissed me goodbye, still said he loved me, still did everything right. But the ease was gone. Kayla and Brittany, meanwhile, were already planning the next trip. "Miami for my birthday," Kayla announced. "South Beach, clubs, boat parties, you're coming, right?" "I don't think so," I said. "Vegas was expensive." "Mark holding the purse strings again?" Brittany asked. "Classic control move." "It's not like that, we have a budget." "For his toys, too, or just yours?" Mark didn't have toys. He drove a 10-year-old Honda, wore the same sneakers until they fell apart, packed lunches to save money. Every dollar he saved went to Lily's college fund or our mortgage. But through their lens, his frugality was oppression. I started picking fights. About money, about chores, about nothing. I criticized how he loaded the dishwasher, how he dressed Lily, how he breathed. Everything he did annoyed me because his existence reminded me of my guilt. "What's going on with you?" he finally asked one night. "Ever since Vegas, you've been different." "Maybe I realized some things in Vegas." "Like what?" "Like I'm 32 and my life is already over. Like I'm never going to be young again. Like I'm trapped in this suburban prison." He looked like I'd slapped him. "Prison? Is that really how you see our life?" "Sometimes, yes. Sometimes I look around and think, is this it? Is this all I get? All you get? A husband who loves you, a beautiful daughter, a home, a life that millions of people would kill for? A boring life, a predictable life. When's the last time we did anything spontaneous? I took double shifts all last month so you could go to Vegas. How's that for spontaneous?" "That's not what I mean." "Then what do you mean, Jenna? Help me understand. What do you want?" I wanted to feel the way I'd felt on that rooftop. Desired, exciting, free, but I couldn't say that. "I don't know," I said instead. "I just know this isn't it." The beginning of the end came through Facebook. A bridesmaid's Instagram story, reshared by a cousin, caught me stepping into the elevator with him. Timestamp, 12:31 a.m. Another clip showed me reappearing at 1:18, 47 minutes, his hand on my lower back, me not pulling away. Mark saw it before I could delete the tag. I came home from work to find him sitting at the kitchen table, laptop open, the video paused on the screen. 47 minutes, he said quietly. "You were gone with him for 47 minutes. "It's not what it looks like." "What does it look like, Jenna? Because to me it looks like my wife went to a stranger's room." "Nothing happened." "Define nothing." "We just talked. He tried to, but I said no. I left." "You went to his room." Each word deliberate, controlled. "You made the choice to go to his room." "I was drunk." "You weren't too drunk to say you were married when he hit on you. You weren't too drunk to stay with your friends. You chose to go with him." "But I didn't do anything." "You did everything but." He closed the laptop. "And there's more, isn't there? This wasn't the only guy. This wasn't the only time." I couldn't speak. How did he know? "Sarah's cousin was at the bachelorette party," he continued. "She told Sarah about the rooftop bar, about you kissing someone else. Different guy, different night." "It was just a kiss." "Just a kiss. Just his room. Just dancing. Just drinks. Just 47 minutes. Add up all your justs, Jenna, and what do you get?" "Just dancing. Just a kiss. Just an elevator. Just 47 minutes. Just enough to change the last name on a mailbox. I made mistakes, okay, but I didn't cheat on you. You kissed another man. You went to another man's hotel room. You lied about it. You gaslit me when I asked. What would you call that?" "I call it being human. I call it making mistakes. God, Mark, I'm not perfect like you." "I never asked you to be perfect. I asked you to be faithful, to be honest, to be my partner." He stood up. "I'm taking Lily to my mother's for a few days. I need to think." "You're leaving just like that?" "No, Jenna, not just like that. Like this, after weeks of lies, after watching you turn into someone I don't recognize, after giving you every chance to tell me the truth." Mark, please, we can work through this. Counseling, therapy, whatever you want. What I want is a wife who doesn't need her single friend's permission to love her family. What I want is a partner who doesn't see our life as a prison. What I want is to trust you again, and I don't know if that's possible. He packed Lily's things while she was napping. I watched him fold her tiny clothes, gather her toys, check twice for her favorite blanket. So careful, so thorough, so exactly like Mark. How long? I asked. I don't know. I need to figure out if I can do this. Do what? Stay married to someone who wishes she wasn't. When Lily woke up, he told her they were having a special sleepover at Grandma's. She was excited. I kissed her goodbye, not knowing it would be the last normal moment we'd have. Kayla and Brittany rallied around me immediately. He's overreacting, Kayla said. You didn't even sleep with anyone. This is emotional manipulation, Brittany added. Taking your child? Classic abusive behavior. But it wasn't. Mark had simply removed himself and Lily from a situation while he processed. He FaceTimed every day so I could see her. He didn't badmouth me to his family. He didn't post about it on social media. He just stepped back. You need a lawyer, Brittany insisted. Get ahead of this. File first. File for what? I don't want a divorce. You don't want that life either, Kayla pointed out. You said so yourself. This is your chance to be free. A week later, Mark came back. Alone. Where's Lily? With my mom. We need to talk without distractions. He'd lost weight. His scrubs hung loose, and there were bags under his eyes I'd never seen before. I've thought about it, he said. And I could maybe forgive Vegas. People make mistakes. Alcohol, peer pressure, whatever. I could work through that. Hope bloomed in my chest. Really? But it's not just Vegas, is it? It's the contempt, the resentment, the way you look at me like I'm some obstacle to your happiness, the way you talk about our life like it's something you're enduring instead of living. I don't... You do. Every time you roll your eyes when I mention the budget, every time you compare us to your single friends' lives, every time you act like being a wife and mother is some consolation prize instead of a choice you made. I love Lily. I know you do, but you love some idea of yourself more. This person your friends convinced you that you should be, and as long as you're chasing that ghost, you can't be present for us. So what are you saying? I'm saying I want a divorce. The word hit like a physical blow. Mark, no, please, I'll change. I'll stop seeing them. It's not about them, Jenna. It's about you. You've spent so much time listening to what they say you're missing that you can't see what you have. And I can't make you see it. I won't spend my life trying to convince you that our family is worth choosing. But I do choose you. No, you choose us when the alternative is losing us. That's not the same thing. He was right. Even then, sitting there losing everything, part of me was thinking about how Kayla and Brittany would say this was for the best. The divorce was swift. No-fault state, irreconcilable differences. Mark didn't want alimony, didn't fight me on assets. He just wanted primary custody of Lily. She needs stability, his lawyer argued. Ms. Morrison has shown a pattern of prioritizing her social life over family responsibilities. My lawyer countered, but the evidence was damning. The Vegas photos, the credit card charges showing how much I'd spent on girls' nights, text messages Brittany had helpfully screenshot and posted, showing me complaining about boring married life. The judge didn't lecture me. She just stacked exhibits on a green felt tray and called it a pattern. In the end, I got weekends and Wednesdays. Mark got our daughter, our house, our life. This is bullshit, Kayla raged. The patriarchy at work, you have some fun and lose everything? But it wasn't about fun. It was about choices. And I'd chosen wrong over and over until the choices chose for me. Free is only expensive when you pay with birthdays. The first weekend without Lily nearly killed me. The apartment was so quiet. No cartoons, no giggling, no little feet running down the hall. Just me and my freedom. Girls' night, Brittany announced. Cheer you up. But the club felt different. The music was too loud, the drinks too sweet, the men too aggressive. Without the thrill of the forbidden, it was just a bunch of people pretending connection in the dark. "You're free now," Kayla shouted over the music. "Isn't this what you wanted?" Was it? I watched her take another shot, flirt with another stranger, post another story about living her best life. At 32, it looked less like freedom and more like running in place. I left early, went home to my empty apartment, and cried until my neighbors complained. The truth about single friends keeping women single isn't that they're malicious. It's that misery loves company, and unfulfilled people can't stand seeing others content. Kayla and Brittany didn't consciously want to destroy my marriage. They just couldn't understand why I'd chosen it in the first place. But I had chosen it. I'd chosen Mark and Lily and Saturday morning pancakes and bedtime stories and all the beautiful, boring moments that make a life. Then I'd let two women who'd never experienced that convince me it wasn't enough. 6 months after the divorce, I ran into Sarah, Jake's wife, at Target. She was buying birthday decorations. "For Lily's party," she said awkwardly. "Mark's throwing her a princess party." I wasn't invited to my daughter's 4th birthday. "How is she?" I asked, hating how desperate I sounded. "Good, really good. She's in preschool now, loves it. She's reading already. Mark works with her every night." Of course he did. That's who Mark was. Present, dedicated, everything I'd convinced myself was boring. "And Mark?" Sarah hesitated. "He's dating someone. Lauren, she's nice. Lily likes her." The floor tilted. "Oh, that's good." "Jenna, I'm sorry. About everything. I shouldn't have shown him those photos." "No, you did the right thing. He deserved to know who he was married to." I fled before she could respond, abandoned my cart, sat in my car crying while happy families loaded groceries around me. As I was leaving the parking lot, I saw Mark's Honda. My heart stopped. He was helping Lily into her car seat, her princess crown from preschool still on her head. Then I saw her, Lauren, lean in to kiss Lily's forehead before getting in the passenger seat. Such a small gesture, so natural, so much like a mother. I watched them drive away, my daughter chattering happily in the back seat to the woman who was becoming her new mom. That night, I called Kayla. "Want to grab drinks?" "Can't tonight. I have a date. This guy from Bumble. He's taking me to some fancy place in Kierland." "Tomorrow?" "Girls' trip to Cabo, remember? You should come." "Oh wait, is it your weekend with Lily?" It wasn't. It was never my weekend when they planned trips. Brittany was even less available. She'd started dating some CEO, was playing house in his Paradise Valley mansion. "I might actually marry this one," she giggled. "Being single is exhausting after a while, you know?" I knew. The wedding announcement came a year after the divorce. Mark and Lauren, small ceremony, family only. The photos leaked anyway. Mark in a suit instead of scrubs, Lauren in a simple dress, Lily as flower girl scattering petals with determination. They looked like a family. Because they were. "Block him," Kayla advised. "You don't need to see that." But I did need to see it. Needed to see what choosing differently looked like. Needed to see Lily call another woman mommy. Needed to see Mark give someone else the life I'd thrown away. "It should have been me," I said. "Babe, no. He was holding you back. You're free now. You can travel, date, live your life." My life. My empty apartment. My weekend visitations. My daughter who now clung to Lauren at pickups. Lauren who would kneel to zip Lily's jacket and step back so I could be the one to fix the crooked zipper. She smiled like she understood the miracle and the ache. My ex-husband who looked through me like I was a stranger. This was my life. The last time I saw Kayla and Brittany was at Brittany's engagement party. She'd landed her CEO, was planning a Scottsdale wedding that cost more than most people's houses. Kayla was her maid of honor, already planning the bachelorette party. "Vegas again," she announced, "but bigger this time." "I can't," I said. "It's Lily's dance recital that weekend." "Can't you switch weekends?" "No, and I wouldn't want to. She's been practicing for months." They exchanged looks. The same look they used to give me when I talked about Olive Garden breadsticks. A look of pity. "You've changed," Brittany said, not as an accusation, but as a diagnosis. "We just want you to be happy, Jenna. You deserve to have fun." The implication was clear. Being a present mother for my daughter's recital was not fun, and therefore, I must not be happy. My newfound priority wasn't a sign of growth. To them, it was a symptom of defeat. "You were a mother before. Didn't stop you then." It hadn't. And that was the problem. I left early, drove to my apartment, sat in the parking lot watching families come home from dinner, kids sleepy in their parents' arms. Normal Friday night stuff, the stuff I used to have. Inside, I pulled up the video from Lily's last recital. Mark had sent it, a kindness he didn't owe me. She was front row, tutu slightly crooked, forgetting half the moves but beaming. The camera panned to the audience, Mark and Lauren cheering, Lauren wiping tears, both of them so proud. I watched it again. 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 Until I had it memorized, until I could close my eyes and see her spinning, see the family in the audience that should have been mine. The truth is, I did this. Not Kayla or Brittany or Vegas or Tyler or Derek. Me. I let two unhappy women convince me my happiness wasn't real. I let the fear of missing out make me miss everything that mattered. I chose the validation of strangers over the love of my family. Now I'm 34, living alone, seeing my daughter 4 days a month. Kayla's still single, still partying, still posting about her amazing life that looks increasingly desperate. Brittany married her CEO, but texts me constantly about how bored she is, how she misses our wild days. They got what they wanted, me, single like them. But I lost everything in the process. Mark was right. I'd spent so much time looking at what I didn't have that I couldn't see what I did. Now I see it clearly, every other weekend and Wednesdays, in glimpses and goodbyes, and another woman raising my daughter. Some mistakes you can't come back from. Some choices echo forever. I chose the music and the lights and the lies, and now I live in the silence they left behind. My single friends kept me single, but only because I let them. Only because I forgot that sometimes boring is another word for blessed. The girls' trip ruined my marriage, but I'm the one who packed the bag. On Wednesdays, Ellie rides back to Mark's house in Lily's backpack. The trunk closes. The little gray ear peeks out until it disappears.